Let's record this as well. So, OPEX Friday, here we go. We'll start off with some of the news, right? We saw that Netflix actually reported earnings yesterday. Let me see what's going on here. Is this the right chart? Yeah. So Netflix reports earnings yesterday, and what we had was a pretty big jump and a beat on Netflix earnings. Global streaming membership maintained double-digit growth, right? That was one of the highlights. So they did really well yesterday. They had a pretty down day, but now pretty much trading, I believe, close to all-time highs, if I'm not mistaken, here on Netflix, helping some of this market rally a little, right? Some good news for the first big tech company that's reporting earnings. We saw a nice little pop on NASDAQ and the S&P on the overnight session. And to continue that, right, there is some news out of China, right? The second largest economy here appears to be slowing, and China's economy grew at its weakest pace since the first quarter of 2023 amid a spiraling property sector, weak consumer demand, and persistent deflationary risk and slowing export growth. So this means that the government's full year growth target of around 5% will not come easily unless more stimulus is poured in, more stimmy, right? So the Chinese economy expanded by 4.6% between July and September compared to the previous quarter's 4.7%. However, it was slightly better than the estimate of 4.5% on a quarterly basis, and the economy grew by a seasonally adjusted 0.9% below the 1% forecast. And additionally, data releases previously showed that exports slowed more than expected in September, growing 2.4% compared to the 8.7% in August. And China's September inflation rate has also come into weaker than expected, with producer prices falling to the lowest level in 6 months. So in some separate announcements, China's central bank on Friday officially kicked off the previously announced $112 billion or 800 billion yuan stock market liquidity measure that allowed funds and brokers to tap central bank facilities to buy equities in a bid to shore up the country's capital markets. Additionally, keeping in mind the need to boost consumer spending, the People's the People's Bank of China here commented on Friday that interest rate cuts of 25 to 50 basis points before the end of 2024 could be in the pipeline depending on the economic situation. So initially, investors, right, they cheered China's major stimulus package first announced in September. However, the absence of key details and subsequent press briefings left the market in dismay, right? We see what was it? I gotta find this. The SSE Composite Index, right, is popping up a little here based on some of that news, but the first announcement, right, the rumors popped it up super aggressively. We dropped down pretty aggressively without too many supporting factors, right, as they mentioned. And now that we're coming back into things, it jumped about 3.6%, while the broader Shanghai Composite and the Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index showed strength as well. So that stimulus is still propping up and like helping the other equity markets around the world too, right? It's a big factor here that China's continuously expanding its stimulus, which is bullish, right? Very bullish. It's bullish until it isn't. So if they keep producing stimulus, this thing's gonna have some more upside realistically, but it's dependent on if they keep up with this, right? They got to keep up with it and continue their announcements as such. So let's put boxing down. We'll talk about some oil stuff and then we'll jump over into the equities. Or at least this screen as well.
Morning, Vic.
Morning, Bucks. How we doing?
I'm doing all right. What are you up to today?
Well, I tried to buy the dip last night, but
How'd
by the
that
time I
work
woke
for
up,
you?
it dipped a little more than it should have. So I didn't buy it again, which was annoying.
Which was annoying?
Yeah, because I didn't buy it again after getting stopped.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's life. We'll buy it again today. Don't worry. Have faith in me.
Are you going to buy it higher than you would have bought it last night?
Ideally around the same area, but we'll have to see.
All right. Well, good deal. Hang on one second. Let me get my thing set up here. All right. Well, good morning, Victoria. Good morning, TRADEPRO Academy. Oil market is flat again. 4 days in a row this week. We've had a flat day session, and we opened this morning about 12 cents below where we opened yesterday. So you can see that we're just, we came down a bit in the Globex, but it's fundamentally just a sideways market. It's just kind of a pain in the butt to trade, to be honest with you. We've got the pivot sitting at 69.84, puts R1 up at 70.84. S1 is at 69.20. There's only about $3 between the two, so it's a little sleepy, a little flat. The VWAP is up at 70.08. There is, because at 8:15 this morning we were just over the VWAP, there is technically a downtrend going, but you see how close these trend lines are to each other. Tells you that this market is really just slow and flat. So we'll scout out the short, but I may not have a trade today because I just don't like the way this market's going. But we'll watch it and trade it if there's a trade there and let you know what's up. Vic, back to you.
The same sequencing here in the equities, like it's OPEX. We'll see, right? There's probably going to be something here, but it could be a little wonkier today. We had my thought process for the overnight on the S&P. I'll explain why I only bought the Nasdaq, but my thought process here on the S&P, we had a lot of volume into the lows, right? I didn't really love that we offered below that 58.90 area, which had a lot of people jammed on that short, right? That was a pretty big region over there. Once they were jammed on that short, they didn't really make a move to clean up any of this, right? They failed to clean this crappy auction here into the highs, and they reoffered continuously back into the lows into the end of the day. Yeah, sure, they had a lot of volume, but it looked like there was going to be some kind of sweep to the downside before the bid. And I was only interested in bids back above that 90 area, and it kind of one touch bounced this morning. So left positionless there. But I like that because this is a failed acceptance of an auction lower with like lower volume trying to come back into the upper band auction above that 58.90 to start. So I do like the bullishness. We'll see kind of how it goes. But like if we pull back to that like 90 area, I do like that. But it's really clean above those 10s, 12s. You start running above those 10s, 12s, I think we have a pretty nice clean back into the all-time high. So pivotal moment, 58.90, right? As long as we hold that, I think that the bull side can show up. It could get a lot choppier here with monthly OPEX. So I might just trade more of NASDAQ, which has been the case recently. And with the NASDAQ here, what I'm mainly looking at, same concept yesterday. So yesterday, NASDAQ really failed to accept under its IB low. It failed to really accept under 370. I had an area 370, 380 over here. What I didn't really notice was like we could have cleaned the auction on from the prior overnight down to about 330 and then caught the bid, right? I would have liked like into the close, we kind of popped up above this area into the 380, right? And on when the overnight started, I was like, it looks fine, right? I can look for the long there. Just the S&P didn't look that great. And I liked that there was a stop of heavy volume. We're coming back into this auction, right? It popped up about like 35 points or so. And then it dumped back into this area to clean this auction and we started going again. So I got stopped out of that, right? I took like a bit off at like 35 points, like 2 lots out of 10. So the rest of it got nuked. And then once I woke up again, I saw it rotating around 370. I was like, oh God, do I buy this again? And I just opted out. I left it. Now it's trading about 500. So we've clearly moved above this auction here. And it's the same scenario, right? We have 520 on the NASDAQ above that we want to really break through for these buyers. Those buyers need to get above that 520. And so far on the pre-market, we've just continuously seen bid, 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 bid. I really don't want to play the middle areas, right? If you're focused on some of the middle areas, you might care about this 450, let's say. But I'd rather much see the acceptance of auctions higher, realistically, to get a run to the upside swing above these like low volume areas so we can get a cleanup of that if there's going to be bullishness. Right, I am bullish above this 380, 370. A lot of people got jammed up there yesterday, and there's pretty heavy volume and a failed auction to the downside from the overnight. So in theory, those guys should hold. We get a nice pump again on the overnight. I expect the first move to be some kind of a sell back to some of those support areas. Yesterday, that sell was very, very expanded. We picked up that 380 long on NASDAQ pretty well. We could see something of the sort today, just like we did yesterday. If these buyers want to hold out, they should really defend these areas, but it's pivotal that they break above these tops, right? This intra balance area at the 10s on the SPOOs, and then that like 520 on the NASDAQ, because that pretty much brings in the cleanup of the auctions realistically. So like we clean the auctions above there, and like the bullish strength opens up pretty heavily above there, so that we could it's an easier path, right? When it's lower volume like that, it's an easier path for these buyers to step in. So like if I take a look at like the delta as well on both of these, you have a lot of positive delta on the day, right? It's littered with positive delta. That's a pretty bullish sign realistically. Like you have this blockade around that 90, which I like a lot. Ideally, if they can pull back into that, I think that dip gets bought up on the S&P here to hold all that buying. A lot of people jammed in that short. Now the buyers are taking control very confidently. I think there's a similar situation here that's going on NASDAQ. If I can find it. That's not it. So NASDAQ, right? Pretty similar, except for the overnight is not that littered with buy side. But like yesterday, there was just like an accumulation of negative delta until lows. Now that we're above that, right? That should hold that bid. You're coming into this area over here where we had a bunch of people stuck into that like 510 to 520 yesterday. So the cleanup of that, right? That's what we're looking for to go and test maybe this 600 again. That would be a very strong bullish momentum. NASDAQ just continues on the rip right now. Is trading almost at 500. So there's pretty strong here on the overnight session, the continued momentum higher. So let's see if we can burst through that 520. I do expect some kind of a pullback to take some profit on this from the overnight longs. But if we just start running aggressively higher, like fantastic, we can buy higher dips. A cleanup of an auction is, 1 second, what did I do here? A cleanup of an auction, when you have like a low auction area with this like super low volume here, right? It creates like a barrier where this is like a balance. It creates a barrier over here. So this auction is like not fairly clean because you make a run to the downside from that area very, very quickly with like lower volume. So if it's real, right, we could be able to go back into that area and then flush it back down again. So that's what I'm looking at today. Let's see. Let me type out this plan here. Morning, everyone. Do we go up or do we go down today? I need the answers. Nas tagging 500s with just vicious buying. Spoos are 0506. Always up, never down. Markets don't know the meaning of down. Morning. Morning. Let's see. We got some time until this open. A lot of time. Geez, what are we gonna fill this with? Let me know if you have any questions. Damn. How do I treat the POC on a 5-day profile? Do you treat it like support resistance or similar to intraday? I treat it as don't trade around it, don't touch it. Like all POCs for me are just like there are spots where price wants to gravitate towards, right? But there are areas that I don't want to be active at. Right. If it's a naked point of control that's like hasn't traded in a very, very long time, like there's most likely going to be an initial rejection from it. But as we're trading around developing point of control, like I'm not a fan of trading at point of controls. It's just an area of just the thickest of volume that could just bounce around and slap you around. Right back into those 500s on the NAS, right as the market's about to open. You devious people. Yeah, if you see POC, like I'd rather not initiate anything there. So our Friday topic of the day. Do you think there's more eyes or legs? Uh, never gets old. Morning, Brian. So much time until this market opens, my God. Oh, that's a good one, Evan. Would you rather have a 50-50 shot at 50 million or a guaranteed 1 million? Yeah, Justin on YouTube. Put a control point of close and get the fuck out. That's a good one. Rather a million now or a 50-50 chance at 50 mil? Evan said he'd take the 50-50. Well, like, yeah, theoretically you'd be better off. 50-50, not bad odds, honestly. It's not terrible odds. Um, if you take the 50-50, it's not like you're going to be out a million. You're just not going to have an extra million. I feel like I do the 50-50. The risk reward is 1 million to 50 million. I do the 50-50. Oh shit. Offer comes in. And how? Pre-market sell, not even waiting for open. Liquidate the longs. Morning, morning. Yeah, Opex to a good start. Market's moving before it even opens. What is this, like news or something? Read bids directly. Two minutes and this thing's already just flying around.
Just up note for Procter and Gamble, ticker PG, CFO says that the company is making progress on industrialization of the Tide Evo and is to launch on a national scale.
Buyers swept up those sellers really quickly. Well, it could be a little volatile. There's the open. Whoa. Okay. Let's get to it. Jumpy open here. We're getting our pullback like we wanted from the 510, 520 area here on the NASDAQ. We got to make sure that we've got our little timer on. And now just waiting to see how these guys actually trade and shape up here. A little more volatility right off this open, not crazy volume traded. It is OPEX, right? You're seeing like wonky shit going on back and forth here. So just keep that in mind. Seeing these buyers and sellers fight, kind of midpoint area at these 50s on this NASDAQ here. We got Fatty on the mic soon. Spoos falling.
Morning, Vic, Boxy, Great Pros.
Morning,
Buddy.
What's up, guys? What's your lean today, Vic? Bullish or bearish?
Well, I want to see if these guys can actually like come back into a key area, then we could like potentially hold the bid.
What's the key
Right.
area on NASDAQ?
Like 380-ish, 370 from yesterday's nonsense.
I thought you'll be long overnight for some reason.
I was, and I got stopped out, dude.
Oh, before the run?
Yeah. I was like, I got along. I was up like 30, 35 points, took 2 out of 10 off, and I was like, yeah, I could go to sleep. I think this is going to work out well. I wake up, just stop destroyed. I'm like, oh, fantastic. And then I didn't buy it again. By the time I woke up, it was trading like 370 again. I'm like,
We'll buy it today towards the close. We're gonna
for
let
the
him pull
weekend.
it back for the weekend.
Spoos are a lot weaker here, right? I think there probably is a catch-up move on this NAS. Let us see. But spoos are in a good area. This is the buy spot on the spoos. God damn. No one's buying though. And Nas is continuously ripping. We love a divergence. Said no one ever. Let's see what these guys got cooking, but oh shit. 1 second. I bought something yesterday. Nice. I start taking some profit on this ASML actually swing. I like the Nasdaq for the catch down. Spoos are getting kind of nuked. Spoos don't want to hold this area just yet. We need to see some like buy force if we're going to be buyers at this 90 on the spoos. Nasdaq has some room to go test that 380, 390, which could honestly kill the spoos. Next thing you know, we're trading 320 on Nas. And here's your morning pullback, cheese. All right, spoos into the 88. It's a big delta area from yesterday around that 90. Nasdaq doesn't want to follow through. Some buying's trying to step in on the spoos at that big cluster of positive delta. This is the first region where you'd want to see the buy come in. And there's a lot of buying coming in. Let's see. I still got like 4 minutes before I do anything. I'm just watching these guys to see if they can hold some kind of buy side momentum. They're really trying desperately to hold this thing. And Nasdaq would catch down a little more, but I guess in Netflix saving the Nas from dying. Netflix new all-time highs. It's up 9% right now. Bum, 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 bum. They're trying to buy the spoos down here. This divergence is a smidge concerning, some might say. Spoos trying to catch a bid through that overnight positive delta. Nasdaq trying to rotate. I think with Nasdaq, man, they trade that like 510 area, let's call it, right before the market opens, and they start re-offering the shit out of it. That's fantastic. Who's trying to bid so poorly here? Comes in that strength from like 450 that we were talking about pre-market here, kind of midpoint weird area. Spoos need to start getting their act together. There's going to be a bid here. Otherwise, I think it's a catch down on the NAS. I still have a few minutes here until I get more information. Big buyer 92.5 now. Spoos 92.25. Big buyers trying to come in here. Buyer no likey.
And just of note for SLB, CEO does not forecast any US activity rebounding in the near term. Of note for SLB.
Spoos got a bit above this like 93 area and like use those buyers. If there's gonna be any kind of bid. No, use them, don't. I'm free of the timer. Had to mash buttons. We're off to a start, I guess, in the market. Is it a good one or a bad one? I don't know. Suppose they're trying to hold that 88. Like decent buying came into that low. They just got a lot of work to do right now. Like Naz is trying to do that work for it. From 450, you got to be kidding me. It's like the area that I said pre-market that I didn't really want to touch. Here comes Spoos. I have a sneaky feeling Mike's long. Where is he? I've summoned you, MSA. That's the long, geez. Well done, Brian. 445, even better than 450. Thought about it, but no. Let's see if this NAS bids through that 520, man. That's going to be...
Just some commentary here from SLB CEO saying that the digital business is on pace to achieve FY revenue growth in the high teens from a conference call.
Shit, Evan. Barely missed it. Oh, NASDAQ. NASDAQ trying to reject this 490. Not optimal. We create lower highs here on the spoons. I go test that area again. Like, I think the longs are pretty finished today. Like, Naz is trying to bid into this 490 right now. Is getting a little caught up. Like, do I fucking short this 490 or am I waiting for like 510? See, I'm probably gonna miss the move. Waiting is proving better. Still a strong bid coming up on the spoos, which is good from that like 90 area. Naz, we'll see this test of this 520 now. But pre-market, there was a bunch of apes selling into that area. So it'd be good if they can relinquish it. Solid bid. Oh, V bottom on the spoo. Let's see if I can fill up into this like 503, 505 on these spoos on some micros. Or on the NASDAQ. Jeez, what am I talking about? Let's see. Only filled 2 of these. Eh. I'm getting out of 1. Was leaving 1 to run. Shite.
Good shorts though. I have some on them too.
Barely filled on it. That kind of sucks, but
As usual, just kickstarting the market update at the US cash open. So for US indices, they do open quite mixed. S&P, that's up about 20 basis points. Nasdaq outperforming, up about 60 basis points. Russell 2000, that's up about 20, and the Dow Jones underperforming, down about 25. Starting off with sectors, they do open quite mixed. You've got communications, technology, and materials outperforming. Communications, however, that is the clear outperformer. Has come after Netflix seeing upside from its earning beats, adding support to the space.
I was getting a little stuck at these like
Technology
four
is benefiting.
NAS.
Reports that Apple has reported iPhone 16 sales up 20% versus the iPhone
Let's see what they can
15.
just offer them.
Pro Max sales up 44%. On the other hand, downside, that's seen in energy, consumer staples, and financial.
Move plus 40 on it.
On communications, or rather consumer staples, that is following downside in Procter & Gamble after revenue fell short for the quarter, noting China market that continues to be weak and will be for the coming quarters. For the dollar, that is broadly lower against its major peers. Dollar index, that's at 103.56, just off those lows of 103.49. So the pound that's strengthening after UK retail sales.
There's no flat. There's only a one anyways, whatever.
They benefited from positive growth data from China over tonight.
One left on it.
Government reiterating remarks to further lower the RR this year. Dollar yuan, that is
more maybe I run, but now I don't.
11.67. Treasury space, the curve, that is bull steepening. 410, that's outperforming after catching a bid after US building permits in September fell more than expected. Meanwhile, the crude complex lower by just around $1 a barrel, with no clear driver behind the downside seen in the last hour or so, as risk poised by an Israeli response lingers into the weekend. Next on the docket for crude watchers is the US weekly Baker Hughes data later today. And for the day ahead, we'll see Fed speak from Waller and Bostich. At the top of the hour, Kashkari is set to speak, although no text or Q&A is expected, or ECB's Lagarde is set to appear on Bloomberg TV. As a reminder, she last spoke in the Q&A, as well as her remarks after the ECB's policy announcement yesterday, where they did, of course, cut by 25 basis points. When capping those remarks, she did say the disinflation process is on track. Activity has been somewhat weaker than expected. She said she did not open the door to anything. Lagarde is likely expected by many to echo yesterday's remarks.
Oh my God, guy. What was that? Have I heard of MSA, Mike? No. Please explain it to me. Well done, Eva.
Further from tons of guidance. So see 2025 North America E&P spending flat to slightly down. For 2025 international client spending, you see that in the low to mid single digits.
It's a simple way of making sure I get a full fill. Fair.
And just on that, SLB, they do expect the Champion X merger to clear closer to Q1 of next year.
You don't just layer all your entries and just put your entries at the average price you want. Listen, sometimes it works. But yesterday, I would have gotten destroyed on it probably, because I started filling at 86 on that long, 386 on the NASDAQ long, and I filled all the way down to 375. So that's a good question. Full fill at one level or scattered fills? Yeah, they both have their plus and minuses. Scattered fill is probably a better entry. Full fill, you get the entry. Yeah, Mike, did you buy it at 86 at 386? No, you probably bought it like an intelligent person at 375. I saw it and I got trigger happy. I was like, this is me. Solid area, high or low now. S&P trading back into that little dinky 90 area. High or low, a lot of people jammed again at 450 on NAS. Kind of mid-tier area here, which is why I'm not attacking it. Tried to fill like 12 micros on that, but I didn't. Friday's micro day. So I'm pretty glad I didn't throw in normal size on minis on that NASDAQ long like I did the previous night, because That would have been, I would have been down like $3 grand. It's the best way to start the weekend. Sad. I say requires intelligence. To fill all at one level requires intelligence. This is where low IQ people like me they're at a disadvantage. But if we're talking about like 10 points on the spoos, like that's different. But like if we're talking about 10 points on the NASDAQ, big deal.
Just some commentary here from Goldman Sachs. Does downgrade the stock's 600 EPS growth forecast to 2% from 6% in 2024. They do note that global escalation in trade tariffs could lower up to 9 percentage points of that EPS growth.
I'm watching these spoos. Haven't traded spoos that much this week. I think only like, well, the overnight I did, but during the day, I didn't do it yesterday. I did on Thursday, I believe, or Wednesday. I don't know. Oh, fuck, Fed, you got a full fill, eh? Sneaky
Yeah,
bastard.
Vic. Thank you.
Spoos are still trying to defend their
Yeah,
little
buyer's crypto.
90.
Buyer's crypto.
If Nas makes a higher low here, I think like we just start the bid. And like that's the only thing I'd be looking for, honestly, to confirm the bid, because Nas didn't pull down to that auction low. It's kind of just like holding the middle of the balance area at like 450, which like I don't think it's a bad area. I don't know. It's not my favorite scenario. It like lowers the probability of the trade for me. There are people that are getting stuck, right? I'll give them that much. I'd rather be longer from higher.
Longer from higher. Okay.
Yeah. If we like burst through 520 on the NAS, like nicely, like even if it takes 2 hours to wait for the pullback, I'll probably not do it. But
An update here from the UK. Chancellor Rachel Reeves is expected to prolong a
that's what I'd like to see if I'm going to be on the longs here.
2028 in a quote stealth quote tax.
Because if we keep like just rotating within this like balance
14
and
billion
like
sterling fiscal
failing to
year.
make new lows on
into the
day,
financial times.
I don't want to keep shorting it.
The sell side argument fades away. I get that. What do you need to see to get short? Yeah. You don't want to see it at higher prices either, right? You want to see it
Yeah, like
at
that's the thing,
lower.
right? Because like then I'd have to
So
short, for example, like 490, let's say, right?
you're stuck in a no trade zone right now.
Yeah, it just for me in the way that I've seen my losses accumulate, I'd probably just not touch this right now. It's like it would have been nice if we just like sold from the 500 area, right?
Yeah.
We just like sold, even like we trade like 430, 420, like even just like peak those lows a little, it makes it a bit better. Like right now, I'd have to sell this like here, and then just be like, okay, let's run
Let's
this
hope
low.
it doesn't get back into the main entry of like 500s. Yeah. Right now, honestly, I
Yeah,
see it the same way. Vic sees it. It's like selling lower after failing to get a decent run into the lows is more risky. I'd rather get a head fake above that 505, 510 that we got last time, 520. I want to watch the bid like on the offer in that area, either qualify shorts or if it's an easy run with the bids, I'll wait for a shallow pullback and try to get long. So right now, 520 is the next area for interest for me. I wanna like build my play either long or short from there, depending on the price action.
yeah, exactly. Like the what's it called? Like the SPOOs are holding a decent area too right now.
Might try it small too here, Vic. Honestly, it's just
Like if they're gonna do it, they should do it from lower than 500.
just if I'm selling lower than my initial fill, I don't like if I did the first one
I
on
know, I
5,
know.
I'll do that one here at like 2. You know,
Exactly. That's why like a reduce the probability to trade it should reduce the size as well. Because like the potential of the profit is smaller too.
Showing up
Like
to
from
the
exactly.
500,
top of the hour.
your potential is like 450.
Marks
Right.
from
Right
this
now from
charge.
480, 490, your potential is 450. Theoretically. SPOOs kind of suck.
And of note, for LVMH, ticket is MCFP. They're surprised by inexact rumors related by French media regarding Moe Hennessy.
Brian, if what happens for the zero DT, I feel like we talked about so many different things by the time we go north of it. Yeah, honestly, that could be the play. I'm a little skeptical about these buyers right now. Like SPOOs is in a very tough situation here. Yeah, exactly. Like bid them from here, fine, do it. But like let's move higher. SPOOs like they're trying to hold that 90, but they gotta make some effort even to get to like 59.10 at this rate. Nice bids. The waiting for these just like major auction areas really improved my trading. Or so improve my profitability percentage rather than just seeing an area being like, there's some order flow here. It's barely moved. This is outstanding. Got dinner tonight. Grandma's. I shall be well fed. Like a plump little bird. Kind of regret maybe not paying along on the spoos down there. I don't even know if I would have filled 90. I guess I would have had to fill like 91. And then if I put limits at 90 and it starts going, then I'd be like, fuck. A similar situation with the full fill on the nose. I'm thinking about that now. I could have just easily pulled those limits lower by like 2 points. It wouldn't affect it. Wouldn't have affected anything anyways.
We've just seen the Atlanta Fed GDP now tracker for Q3. That is unchanged at 3.4%. That update does come up in the wake of this morning's housing starts report.
You guys are just like rotating, pitting. This is the OPEX bullshit right now. Fantastic. Is Netflix still ripping? Not really, but it did a very big move. I'm just going through some of these tech names. Nvidia's kind of flat, a little red on the day. Amazon was up. Google is trying to move up. Apple is, it gapped up, pulled back, trying to go for a new all-time high, it seems. Macrosoft sucks. It's just ranging here, rotating. Meta into $1,000. Well, if I get a pullback on Meta around 558, I think that could be a decent swing. Check out his breath. What is this paper trading nonsense? Use trading view. Breath is trying to creep up even after yesterday's sell. It's kind of holding out. Is oil affected by OPEX or just equities? I'm gonna say just generally equities are more affected. I don't know, Boxy, you have more insight on this. I don't really look at oil.
Oil futures are not impacted by anything that happens in the options market as a general rule.
Fair. So we'll just go back to equities. How's oil moving today? Is it moving?
If it's moving, it's moving down. It's really super sideways though.
I just looked at it actually, right? This thing cannot catch a or hold a bid on like a medium term perspective.
Yeah, I know. You know, it crossed 70 and looked like 70 was going to hold, and now we're below 70 again.
I know. Like, what was it, last week or the beginning of this week? I can't remember which week it was, but I was looking pretty enthusiastic about oil, and then I look at it.
Because we mentioned to Laurent that if it came back above 70 and 70 held, it'd be good to take a swing position. And it was a decent run. I think we got up into the 76s, but here we are at 70.
Yeah. Sad. Well, Nas just tags. Where did it tag? 520.
520 on the dot, yeah. Offers.
And gets rejected. Huh. Interesting. Just rip the bid through this, man. If you want to do it, it's there. Laura. Fuck. I'm not gonna repeat that. I keep that to chat only. These guys are climbing back up. 21s, 23s trade on NAS now. A lot of buying happening into this high. What'd you scratch, Mike? MSA and then now scratching? These are still failing. It's interesting. I don't believe in these sellers.
And we're here from SLB.
Wrong.
Says free cash flow in 2025 will be higher than 2024 on its own operations, as well as the closing of the Champion X deal.
Could be very wrong, but I don't know. These sellers aren't. Long 80. When it tagged 520. Strong rejection. I just cut it. But if you were long like 480, you took like 40 points. Is that a scratch? This area is kind of failing people. I'd be very careful with this though. Before there's a big buyer that's coming in right now with this like 05 area, 04 says, I'll show you failing. And they show me nothing but red. $520
Ah,
acting as
ah,
I know I thought
sorry.
about it too.
No, I freaking did it. And like I was like trying to act smart, like sold some at 60. I was like, yeah, I'll offer it some more lower, because like it wasn't so clear. Right. So it's kind of like following through with the offer. If they're offering out that, and I ended up with like two lots. Now this is like
Welcome to
fucking
my world.
yeah, it's not. No, it's more like hesitation in terms of, oh, I'm not seeing it very clear, but like it played out. I like that setup when like it sells three, like a strong rejection back into it, and you rotate, you sell it again, and it just kind of makes sense to try it with the sell. It's not out of the park yet. I think like the distribution right now
Right.
is holding between like the low 80, sorry, the mid 80 for the buy side and the 520 for the sell side. So it's not out of the park. Maybe you'll see another hand being played here, meaning another bounce into the 520, try to sell into. But I was trying to layer in the short, ended up with nothing. That's all. If it sells from here, it's gonna be
If
annoying.
it sells from here and I'm not on this juicy area, then I guess it's life. A lot of selling that's like not really going anywhere right now, though.
Yeah.
Sellers trying to attack, the bid trying to hold back. Let's see who the real winner is here. It's mid 480, trying to say no, seller, please. I beg of you. SMP playing a stupid little game over there. This is just turning into a fest of potential higher lows. Yeah, someone jammed around that 480 on this nose on the short. Fair enough, Mike. Oh, you're trading oil too? Jeez. I might have fumbled not shorting that like 510 even. Not every day is Christmas Day.
Yeah. I got out of those two lots. I was hoping for a small rally that like up into 10-20 anywhere to sell. Yeah, that would have been the day there if I cut that short on my size. Nice. Oil is good, Michael, especially like if you're doing Nasdaq, you should be doing oil, honestly. I think that's it should those two markets move the same. Actually, oil respects level more than Nasdaq. Nasdaq loves head faking. You don't trade oil futures, Vic?
No,
Tip on
just
it.
YOLO into swings.
Back into the 480. What do we do now from here? Do we break and continue the downside movement, or do we hold the 480 for another bid up into 520?
Oh my god,
Tough questions.
that'd be hell. Or the next test, if they test 520, they should break. The extensions aren't very strong right now in this market.
I'm gonna figure like the setup out this week for the charting for the oil, because I kind of lost the chart book. I'll do that more because I noticed like most of my trades are on Nasdaq, and Spoos is like the place that I get there is like more like catch up or reversals depending when the picture is different, and one is long, one is short. I believe in S&P more, and that's when I trade the S&P. Like kind of like pulled off from S&P a lot. So I'll probably add oil instead of that. Just need to work on the chart book a little.
This market's so dead right now.
I don't know. It's hard to have anything here. It's kind of in the middle right now. Like either thought about the 470, 480 for the long, and right now you're waiting. That's retesting 500 looking good, or if you're not on the short or you missed the short, like you gotta wait for 520. Just not much you can do. You play here a lot in the 80 area, it'll be like over trading.
There's a lot of back and forth at this like 80 area.
Yeah.
480 on those. Some buyers trying to hold, some sellers trying to come through. Down to 82. Stuck down there. S&P just in a world of its own. Slow as shit. The reactions that are happening right now too, like, this is very jumpy. Like, it looks kind of bullish, like the way that they keep rebidding these things. Like SPOO's trying to hold that like 90 again. NQ going back and forth between offer and bid. My God. Last, I don't even know how many minutes. We've just been rotating this NASDAQ here. It's been at least 10.
Yeah, movement died out.
13. Oh, thank you. Nas tries to sell. People get a little jammed into the lows of that sell. Let's see what the extent of their power is. S&P keeps trading to that 90, man. Like, it seems like they want to break it. That's like just too powerful. A lot of people selling into these 90s on the SPOOs. was like trying to open the bid now.
Just a bit more from SLB. It saw a muted impact from the storms in the Gulf of Mexico, it says.
Back to buying on NAS.
Remarks from the Fed's Bostic. We may see a lull in investment activity and household spending amid election uncertainty.
This got to be it, man. If they're gonna go and test this like 500, 520 again on NASDAQ, just like let it be the break.
From SLB, CEO says it's possible that compound annual growth rate from 21 to 25 will finish more in the high teens rather than breaking 20%.
Haven't done anything since that first little move from the 500 area on the NAS. Yeah, this is getting kind of untradeable at this point, just watching this thing go back and forth. Imagine what the afternoon's gonna look
Hmm. Probably more movement. Who knows?
like. Probably more shit.
Friday and OPEX bet combo.
They're like trying to sell NASDAQ, but it's like a fake sell. Back to the 480. S&P just like holding desperation to that like Low 90. I guess if you're just like scalping this, yeah, okay, there could be a few points here and there. That's like to 79s. Again, a lot of negative delta kind of clustered there.
You want to toss up the early exit, Vic?
Yeah, sure. Nothing's really happening right now. Oh, finally some sell. Let's see how far it goes though. Like the only thing that I kind of think I should just jumped on was that sell from that like even 510 on the NAS as I was thinking about it. Like, oh, is it going to? Is it going to? Well, like I should remember that OPEX, like the probability of an expansion right now is pretty low. I've been agonizingly watching this trade though, so two sides of the coin. Sometimes it's just a one type day, one straight day. One of my friends warned me about this. On Thursday, he was like, "Have a good weekend," and I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I'm not trading tomorrow." I'm like, "Oh, okay." More yesterday on Thursday. Yeah, otherwise this is going like I don't know. I'm not sure from that like 500 area again. And I think it's a solid move, but like there's a lot of like underlying selling that's trying to hit this Nasdaq right now, but it's not really continuing. And the S&P is just like desperately holding 90. So I think if we break like 90, 88 aggressively on SPOOs, yeah, you can sell rallies. But like the way that this is playing out right now, like daily volume 360,000 contracts on the SPOOs. It's looking like a meat grinder. You're gonna get caught up in the shitty price action, right? You're gonna try to take too many trades. Maybe you lose one, then you're trying to take more, or you win one, and then you're like, I want more, but nothing's fucking happening. So I lose the confidence if I keep testing the same area without any kind of continuation, you know? How's this thing not charging? The like based on these auctions, based on the balances, they're both bullish, right? But the expansion on Nasdaq would be more bullish. I think it's hard to pinpoint areas to get long this Nas. They're creating like a lot of negative delta around 480 right now, just proving to be some kind of little area. S&P still bullish above this 90, right? As long as they keep holding that 90, like fair, they just kind of gotta make a better move. Hmm. Flying back to Toronto next Wednesday, so I shall be nowhere in sight on Wednesday. My flight's at like noon my time, 1 p.m. my time. So by the time I get to Toronto, it's gonna be like 6 p.m. So yeah. I'll be jet lagged Thursday, Friday, so we'll see how that trading goes. I'm probably not jet lagged on Friday, but probably. We'll see. TBD. This is a long trip. Hate it. The election's coming up too. Wow. I used to trade elections, but probably won't. Margins increase. It's like trying to trade like an FOMC event. It looks opportunistic. And then when you're actually in the thick of it, you're like, what the hell is happening? Hey, Eddie, I'm in Europe right now. Location undisclosed. Wait, I don't have the video up. So you guys haven't been looking at me. A very important factor of trading. Oh, you're in Spain, Eddie? No, I'm not in Spain. I was in Tenerife for like 4 months last year, cumulatively. It is Spain, but like it does not feel like you're in Spain when you're there. Laura, are you still here? Are you in did you make the move to Romania full time? Oh nice, nice. I liked it there when I was there, man. Maybe I go again. How's your Romanian? Yeah, come to Sofia. If you can travel and trade, the only thing that you should be concerned with is what's it called? Time zones. Like, yeah, you can trade the European session for sure, but like me trading the European session is like, well, I guess like technically it's like kind of the Asian session first. Like me trading the overnight session is putting limits on and going to sleep. Like what I mean by that is it doesn't move a lot. So like if you're sitting there just like staring at the screen, it's draining. Or like the mornings European time, like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. They're usually like there's usually actually like decent moves. 9 a.m. Three Romanian lessons a week. Whoa, wow. Yeah, and I gotta talk to Andrew if I'm trading the European session. Yeah, the European session is like this. Eddie, are you in the States somewhere? I was looking into going to Japan for a bit actually. But I really gotta think that through because the time probably will kill me within a week. Like Japan opens like 9 p.m. their time, the New York session. But like a popular like destinations for like US traders, generally like South America, Central America. Europe's solid is just like you gotta get used to the time a little, honestly. Like it took me a bit at the beginning. Yeah, Asia's a terrible place if you want to trade the US session. Like it's just at night. Oh yeah, you spend months in Thailand. Oh yeah. You were telling me. Yeah, or Australia time zone. US Open is midnight. Oh jeez. Yeah, Costa Rica for sure. I feel like a lot of not I feel, I know a lot of traders that are there. Central South America seem pretty promising. Weather is pretty solid. Island vibes, not everywhere, but you can get them if you want very easily. Just chill on a beach during the day. Closer to the US hours, which is a big bonus. See, that's what the sessions come to. So I'm talking about right now. Toronto. Oh fuck, never again. I don't mind Toronto because I got family and friends there, but I
What are
don't
we
like
doing?
it either.
Yeah.
We're talking about traveling and trading. Fatty was in Egypt for a few months or half a year, whatever it was. A long
It
time,
was
actually.
half a year, yeah, 4 or 5 months. It was nice. Why you wanna stay in? You want me to stay in Canada in the winter? It's like if you have the privilege to leave, it's
Yeah.
probably more wiser to do so. Let's set some limits there and fill some. I'll show you this. Oh, I think it's gonna get stopped. Wait, let me share it quick.
Yeah.
When I share it, it expands.
There's you
I
some
tried.
more?
Yeah, I hold some of the stop below the lows. I took some out of the first bounce, then left the stop where it's at. Came back, it's still at 505. I have one running, but yeah, it's just a small trade. I like that context overall, like, and flow is kind of like leaning on the bullish. 480 is the point of control. It's an annoying area to hold, but hey, it's the area presented. I think you open up below here, 470, 480, you kind of favor the sell side below that. So I was like, I'll give it a shot. But right now, as the picture keeps getting painted, one failure to break above 505, another one here, if they fail here, I wouldn't buy it again. I would buy it like probably sell it below 460. And yeah, that was
Yeah, I don't know.
those were the
I
two
kind of
actions that I
I think
took on
it's
today's
a good
session.
move. Like you have the negative delta that's trying to hold it there between 475, 480, like fair, right? See if you can break that 500. I don't know, it's kind of just like still a little bearish under that 5, like 10 for me, but I think
No, that's
I got a
fair, man.
little
It's not a high probability setup, honestly, by any stretch. The point of control is there, a lot of volume. Like those
like I did it
areas,
once, I'm not
there's
gonna keep doing it.
yeah, absolutely. Those trades are like not the best.
Yeah, it's like it's holding. As long as we hold under like 520 area, you can sell it. As long as we hold above like 380, I think you can buy it. But I think I'm just exhausted just looking at this just rotate everywhere.
Yeah, it's rotation set right now.
Like if I like let's say I filled like I don't know 505, okay, I take like 20-ish, right? Handles 30 handles from this, and it comes back to my break even, and does it again, or just like rotates for like 4 hours around my
Yeah,
entry.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm
I
okay with
hear
just the
you.
one today.
That's fair. That's fair. Where traveling were you guys thinking of? If we're
Some guys in the
talking
YouTube
about
comments were asking about this stuff, and I was like, yeah, like I've been around Europe a decent bit, but like I too, someone said like sun and beach for sure. I feel like that's a go-to. That's why I like Tenerife because also it was like UK time, so it was like the market would open at 2 p.m. Eastern or 2 p.m. their time. Um, so it was pretty good from that sense. So then like it doesn't like close that late. Because like if I'm
you were
here,
there for a
Bulgaria
while
or
too.
Greece, yeah, I was there for like 4 months
Jeez, total or like back and forth?
total. I took like a split between. So like I was there for like I think 5 weeks originally, and then almost 3 months the second time.
I remember, yeah, because I really wanted to come, and it just
Yeah, we
didn't
talked about
set
that.
up
Yeah,
the way I thought. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. It was good. I like the time too because like I don't like the market will close like I don't know, like 9-ish, something like that. Or
Mm,
like the end, like last hour is like 8, 9 p.m., which is like good still.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely. The
like if
timing
I'm
is in your
Bulgaria,
favor,
Greece, like
unlike Thailand or something. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Bulgaria or Greece, because I go back and forth, like it's like if I stay until close, like oh fuck. Like it's painful
Uh,
sometimes, like 10, 11 p.m. It's like you don't do shit all that. I'm not in the GTA Robert anymore. I'm going back Wednesday, going back to Toronto.
nice. So welcome back.
Yeah.
Is
Your
that a
ref
wedding or
comments
something that
from
you're here
Challenge
to
Vice
see?
Premier League.
Yeah.
You're
I got a
just coming
wedding
to see
next Friday.
family.
Seeks investment from more
It's wedding
financial.
season, so
Yeah, I got a wedding next Friday. I'm gonna stay with my parents for a very long time, so I'll message you when I'm there, Fetty.
Yeah, man. Link up.
Toronto. I haven't been there since last year.
I know. Yeah. It's gonna feel different, because it is
I
different.
bet it will, honestly.
Uh,
Well, they're finally selling well. Fantastic. Good for them.
yeah.
Oh, Colombia.
Colombia,
Yeah,
Costa Rica are the two areas next on my hit list.
I think so
So
too, man.
yeah, I'm just waiting to finish up some stuff here. I'll probably cut like towards the end of November. A lot of people that work online, that's where it's at. Beaches, cheap prices, good energy. It's a lot of people I know that work online, honestly, like stick with these two. My issue was the uh, language barrier, but yeah, we'll work on it.
Yeah, he'll pick it up. Colombia sounds good. I feel like there's a lot of those like online nomads though. It kind of fucks up the place a little, but also
I
it
have
can
one
be
of my
good for
friends.
socializing.
Yeah, I have one of my friends who's actually married and he lives there. So yeah, for the sake of safety, that's where I'm gonna crash the first week until I understand things. But yeah, like
Good and bad, two sides.
eh, like anywhere
Wait,
else, bro.
yeah. Laurent, is Romania Bulgaria time? Yeah, yeah, it should be. Never mind. Stupid question. Well, there's a sell. I didn't do it again. I've exhausted my resources now that we're talking about time zones and shit.
Times one like be cool. Not that.
Yeah. Did I like it enough to take it? Clearly not. Daniel's still short 520 from an hour ago. There you go.
Oh
Fuck
wow.
it.
Nice.
Huddle.
Good patience, man.
The fluidity is kind of ass. That's what
Yeah.
would have triggered me anyways. I would have probably gotten out for 20 points anyways.
Do you think, Vic, I got asked that question, I want your perspective. I was like, somebody was like, I get impatient in the trade that I end up tapering the profit too fast. Still like within a decent range, but he tapers too fast. So would you argue that maybe like widening the stop and the take profit and not scratching, just leave it as it is, can help in that scenario?
I would say so. Like the only reason why I would get like personally impatient in a trade is that like if it's
Taken there's
like
an element that is personal here, right? So like you,
yeah.
for example, all right, holding winners or let's call
Yeah,
it
but like
like
the
setting
thing
on risk. Yeah, go
even
ahead.
even like with holding winners, if it's just like rotating around my entry, like I don't really like that. Like if I don't remove myself from the screen, like I'll probably try to cut it. Like on the overnight session, why I can hold the overnight is because like if my entry gets filled and it's like going well, I go to sleep and then I literally cannot do anything if I'm asleep unless I wake up and go and like check on it or do something with it. But like throughout the day as well, like if I have a nice runner and it's going in my way and I'm like, okay, I can run a bit of this, honestly just go do something else. Because like staring at it all the time, you're like you see it go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
I can take 20 here, I can take 30 here, or I can take like 5, 6, 8 on the
Yeah, by the
screen.
time
It's like
by the
being
time the
done.
100 point run comes, like you're already like you're done. You know what I mean? So that's like, and trailing, honestly, trailing is a tough job, man. Sometimes like you hide behind some deltas or something comes visit that area and it goes. Just told him like set your targets and be diligent about
Yeah,
it. If like it rotates around it, like around the area of resistance, like definitely take it. But yeah, I think there's an element there that is personal. Like some people like
it
there is
is. Like,
when you're in a trade, you're carrying risk, right? It feels heavy, and the market is not like a go fill, then go take profit right away. No, it's usually a battle. This like for example, like I was long here 480, right? It like I got the fill, it went to my first take profit, first, second, and third, came back, rotated against me with like 10 points, went back to my to my take profit again, then came back. you see like that was patience
Yeah.
in the trade. Trading that like it requires carrying risk for prolonged around the time, and sometimes it's good type of carrying where like it's going your way and it's beautiful and you're smiling and you're counting, the profit, and sometimes it's like, oh, it's going back and forth. I have good analogy, good thesis on it, but it's still bouncing between my entry and another place else, but within a range where I can accept. So yeah, there is I think that improves with experience though, Vic, wouldn't you argue?
Yeah, like I think so for
Yeah.
sure. Like being able to like hold through risk, but I think like also like comes down to like style. Cause like for example, like Mike has like wider stops and wider take profits right now. Like if I know that I'm just trading like area to area based on like let's say a 30-40 point stop, like it's not going to affect me that much if it's just like rotating and doing its thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, I hear.
So like if I have something tighter, for example, like if I'm trading spoos and like I'm using like a 3 point stop and it's just kind of dilly-dallying, it's like going 5 points for me, two against, 5 4 two against, and I'm more enticed to cut it. But like if I have like a position, I'm going to use a 6 point stop on these spoos. Like I don't really care too much unless we're at like 10 points profit, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I hear. It's good. Good talk.
Do I trail stops overnight? No. On Nasdaq, I have it set that my stop goes to break even when the position's 70 points in my favor. And by that time, if it's 70 points in my favor, I've some of the positions already been taken off automatically. Similar concept with the S&P. So like it just trails to break even. And then wherever the targets are. It's like my whole thing against scratching. Like, well, you guys have heard this rant 17 times, but
I have two arguments with scratching. Number one, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, good
good
day.
day.
Yeah, not bad. Let's go. Good work, guys. Yeah, the thing with scratching is like there's two types of scratching. It's scratching because you hesitated within a position that you liked and planned initially, right? This is the type that you try to eliminate. And the second type is like sometimes you get like you rush or you FOMO, and then you get that fill that you really don't like, but you're in now because you took a decision. Those I don't mind scratching. Yeah. I call it like scratching for the sake of a better fill. It can work, it can go against you, but like some like it depends. It really comes down to the trade. If you rushed and you feel like, okay, I chased this, definitely I look down and the entry that I wanted is like 20-30 points higher Nasdaq. Okay, like you don't have to wait and sit through 20-30 points of risk. You can just realize that you rushed and take the small scratch for the sake of a better fill. But if you plan a trade, you see the setup and you execute, and then it comes and price moves against you a little bit, and then you start hesitating and you scratch, then it goes back in your direction or rotates back in your direction, then you want to get in again. Then this is just indecision at the moment of execution, and that gets easier and better with time. Sorry, granted. Thank you, Boxy, for the numbers, Habibi.
All good. I get it though. It makes sense, right?
You want to do a wrap up, Boxy? Awesome.
So
You still
oil market has come down, put in a Globex low about 1025 of 68.33. Came up off of that a little bit. We're still trending downward. We're trading a little higher at the 68.39 at the moment, but we are starting to make lower lows and lower highs. So maybe looking at a dip. So short side looks like the right side for the moment. Whatever you do, monitor your risk, trade like a trade pro, and preserve that capital. Gentlemen, thank you for another great day, another great week. I hope that you guys and all TRADEPRO Academy has a great rest of the day, a great weekend, and we'll see everybody on Monday. Ciao.
awesome, Boxy. Thank you, sir. 80% between the two polls. Good work, guys. Like life positive between both polls is a really good result. The market is just not good today. We had an initial move off the open, and things kind of died out after we tagged that 520, pulled back into 480, and it's been those rotations for the last, I don't even know how long, I think 1030 or something. And yeah, the less trading when it's sideways, the better. I had one trade, but that was it. I set my stop where I wanted. I set the entry. I left it. I took some off. One got taken out at break even. That's fine. Lesser trading, the better. What we're waiting for, or you should be waiting for another trade, is an extension outside of the extremes. So that's a bid above 520 or an offer below like 420, I would say. Maybe even 360, 380. 380 is better, I think. But yeah, that's what I got. And good week. And we'll do it again on Monday. Victorio, back to you, brother.
Perfect. Yeah, very kind of slow movement. Obviously, it's OPEX. I was looking more on the short on the NASDAQ here today because we like toppled over back into that 500, 520. I did it the first time, and after that, I just lost interest. I didn't touch the spoos, but there was a decent long opportunity. Just super slow and crappy. They're just gonna wrap the week up here with that. And then I think that as long as we stay above this 90 on the spoos, it's bullish. NASDAQ can't even trade 380. That's a pretty good sign realistically for the bull side, but it'd be better if we try to complete some of the auctions higher. I just don't think that's a possibility on today's like slow day. So that's pretty much it. Hope you all have an amazing weekend. And thank you everyone for joining us on YouTube. Pancake 10, yeah, I agree. So yeah, happy weekend. Thank you guys. We'll chat next week. I'll be probably streaming on Friday from Toronto. We'll see if I can get shit set up, but let's go from there. So enjoy the weekend. Thank you all.